Bass strings, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Rumblin' Man YouTube channel. To try every bass string we can and to tell you which ones I like the most. Have I ever found my favorite round wound bass strings? Maybe. In fact, I may be showing them to you today. But I've still got to try as many things as I can before I start going around making proclamations about my favorite strings. So hello and welcome to the Rumblin' Man YouTube channel. We are checking out some really cool bass strings today that I want to tell you about by Stringjoy. But first I just want to say, if you've never been here before, the Rumblin' Man YouTube channel is a channel for bass players and guitar players alike, in which we look at gear. So if you like gear, like I do, go on and click that subscribe button. If you're a return viewer to this video today, one of my regulars, go on and hit the thumbs up button just to help me out, help me get some views and some traction going on toward this video. Sorry in advance that my voice sounds so hoarse. I sing at night, and during the day I talk kind of gravelly. So that's just the nature of it. But nonetheless, I'm going to spend the vocal strength to talk to you today about some very cool bass strings. If you've been following my channel for a long time, you may remember that about 4 or so years ago, I did a review of a great set of Stringjoy bass strings, and my consensus with the review was I really liked them. I believe they were more of a nickel-plated steel kind of set, which obviously is a great type of string, but we're looking at something different today from Stringjoy. These are the Stringjoy Rangers, and these are stainless steel bass strings. And I got them in a 5-string set for one of my 5-string basses. The gauges that I have are 45 to 130, but they are available in other gauges as well. Stringjoy is based in my former homeland of Tennessee. They're in the Nashville area, and they are a small company with great resources, and they just do an absolutely stellar job making strings for electric guitar, bass guitar, and acoustic guitar. I've used their strings on a number of occasions, and I've never had a bad experience with their strings. Stringjoy, since 2014, has been crafting bass strings in Nashville, Tennessee. They are played on stages worldwide. These strings are crafted one at a time by Nashville musicians who know that great art is made with great tools. They say it's our mission to make strings that inspire you to play more, play better, and play more like you. Play your way. When it comes to round wound bass strings, there are a couple general materials you'll usually find. You'll find steel or stainless steel, and you'll find nickel. Pure nickel has been around less and less lately, so what you find instead are nickel-plated steel bass strings. Bass players generally prefer the feel of nickel bass strings or nickel-plated bass strings because they're a little less rigid and they treat your hands a little better, usually. Bass players, though, often prefer the sound of steel bass strings because steel bass strings have this kind of bright, articulate tone to them that can really liven up the sound of your instrument. And this is the bass. You may have seen my full review of this great bass guitar here on my YouTube channel. This is the Aria Pro 2. It is a 5-string PJ bass, which is something I wanted for years. And I worked with Aria to get this bass and review it for all of you. It's got great hardware on it, and it's an awesome bass. Plays great. You know, the neck is a nice satin finished roasted maple. Really a workhorse, a beast of a bass. If you can get your hands on one of these, they're awesome. But here's kind of what I found in my experience with it. I found that these stock pickups, which I may change at some point, but these stock pickups, you know, by Aria are good and they sound really good. But for me personally, they're just a little darker, a little thuddier than I would prefer. I like it when a little bit of brightness comes out. Okay, so previously on this bass, I had the stock strings from Aria, which were some type of nickel or nickel-plated steel string. I'm not sure exactly what they were. But when I realized that I was going to be getting these stainless steel strings from Stringjoy, I realized, you know what? Some stainless steel bass strings just might be what's needed to brighten up the sound of this bass. So if you listen to my prior reviews and demos of this bass guitar, and then the demos in today's video, I think you're going to hear that it's brighter sounding, that it's more articulate, that there's a nice clean edge to it now. And that is because of these really nice sounding stainless steel strings. But let's talk about feel for a second, because stainless steel, being the way it is, does have a reputation for bass players of being a little harder on your hands. Well, that may be the case. Well, I'll say, you know, I've played some nickel-plated steel, you know, sets of strings that are very, very, very smooth to the touch. That said, playing these steel strings, I don't really feel like they wear down on my hands whatsoever. In fact, I feel like they're a real joy to play. They've got a nice play to them. You know, you can bend them, you can slap them, great. They keep that nice brightness, and I don't necessarily find any discomfort in playing them. You know, I mean, yes, you can, you know, feel ridges as you do with steel strings and rounds in general, usually. But really, I like the way they feel. And I got to tell you, they remind me of some stainless steel strings that I used to use all the time. And those were the MJC Ironworks stainless steel strings. And unfortunately, MJC is no longer around making strings. But I really think if you were a fan of the MJC strings, I think you might really like what Stringjoy is doing here. They remind me very much of the MJCs, just that same kind of texture, that same nice look to them, that nice playability, and that nice snap that you get in the sound. If you like slap style playing, or even if you just like for your bass part, you know, in a mix to have a little bit of brightness that cuts through to where people can hear you, I really think you might enjoy these bass strings. So let me know in the comments of today's video what kind of strings you prefer. What are your favorite strings and why? Do you like nickel or steel? I like both. I like rounds, flats, stainless steel, nickel-plated steel. I'm just a big fan of bass strings, and I rarely come across a set that I hate, though it's happened. But these I love, and honestly, these are going to go ahead and rank very much at the top, toward the top of my list. Like I can't say for sure like what number 1 and number 2 and number 3 are, but I know that these are going to be somewhere way up at the top. These are probably some of the greatest, nicest stainless steel strings I've ever played, and I really like them. And if you want to check out some stainless steel strings, I think Stringjoy is exactly who you need to go with. So check out the link in the description of this video, as I've got links where you can go on and purchase yours. Today. All right. I think they brightened up the tone of this bass really nicely, and they've kind of renewed the life play in this bass for me. They've kind of made me want to record with it more often. When you're unhappy, when someone comes to me and they're unhappy with the tone or playability of their bass, I always say, listen, do this one thing. And if you still don't like it, come back and see me. And that one thing is this: change your strings. Put a new set of strings on, try something different, because sometimes that action in itself will dramatically improve the playability and tone of your bass. All right. Thank you to Stringjoy, everyone there, for making this review happen today. And guys, make sure to check out these strings. And thank you so much for viewing today's video. God bless you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.